So somebody was asking me, where does unblock yourself come from? Unblock yourself. Right? Well, what does that mean? Because when you look up unblock yourself, most things are, most websites or YouTube's, when you say unblock yourself, it's going to be how to get around from being blocked by somebody. This is not that workaround. This is how to get out of your own way. So somebody asked, where did it come from? So here's how it came about. Here's how this comes about. I had a vision or a dream or a vision on, I was coming up to this door, right? A door. And I wanted to get in the door. But there was, you know how you go to a club and you have the bouncer at the door. Well, I was trying to get in this door, but somebody was standing in the way. And that somebody was me. Usually you don't dream about yourself, but that somebody was me. And they were asking, well, I was asking for the password. You know how you see it like in the cartoons and things like that. Okay. What's the password? You want to get in here? What's the password? And I didn't have a password. So I didn't get out the way. You can't come in. Like, okay, where do I get the password from? And I told myself, me talking to me, well, you need to look it up. Okay? So I gave me the answer. I need to look it up. I didn't say where to look it up, but I need to look it up. And that's what started me on this journey, okay? We are unblocking ourselves. And back in 2017, about 6 years ago, almost 6 years ago now, I really got into what unlocked it. What gave me the password was pretty much leadership, and not leadership of others, but leadership of myself, taking control of my own situation. So, and like I don't know if I've told you guys about this, but this was probably the first book that I really read. And what I mean by really read, I mean no pictures. I mean a real book. And it's not long. It's only 124 pages. But this book I really took seriously. Like, you see, I highlighted this book. From almost every single page has, was teaching me, and everything that I was learning was coming out of this book. This book just like, pow. How successful people think. And this was by John Maxwell. This is how I got on the Maxwell team. That Maxwell journey, I was like, okay, I need more books. So every little book that he had, I bought. So I have a little collection. But like I said, almost every page. It might just be one, but almost every page was like, okay, you need to know something. He's teaching you something. You need to take all of this. You just need to take notes. And I was taking notes. And then I was like, man, shoot, this thing's so full. I just gotta put stars. So now if you get one of my books, usually that I've really teach out of, it looks like this. I'm going back through this one to look at all the stuff that I highlighted, and one of my favorites. But that's how that came about. And it went from leadership of me to leadership of others, relations, and then the concept of, okay, 5 days, let's go through mind, body. Started unblocking my mind, getting out of my own way, unblocking my body, unblocking spiritual things. So not just the mind, not just the body, but all working together, mind, body, and spirit. Then finances, then social interactions, then on top of that, getting into Japanese concepts, because Japanese culture is, one of my favorite things of all times, and how it's some things we take so, just like ikigai, kind of like the purpose, the reason why you get up. Okay, that's just how we do it, the things that we do, why we do it, things like that. As I was talking with some Japanese people, it was a consensus that they don't really talk about ikigai. Here in the States, in the West, we were like, man, this is the awesome concept. We need to know why we're doing these things, and the mindset behind it, and the mind, body, and spirit of the reasons why we're doing the things that we're doing. And you talk about ikigai, it's like that. It is what it is. That's just normal. That's just a part of life. Having ikigai, or the reason of your being, is a way of life. So it's not like it's like eating bread. And you'd be like, man, this bread is the best thing on earth. You can toast it, you can make sandwiches, you can do all this. And the people who have bread all the time, every day, in abundance, it's just like, it's just bread. Or that old joke where man wanted to be buried with his gold. He had all these gold, and he had a shovel, a wheelbarrow, and he took it to heaven with him, and he's walking around with heaven with all his gold. And some of the angels was talking, this is a joke. The angels was looking at him, and it's like, why'd I do walking around with all that pavement? Things that we value, the concepts that we're taught is just like, I gotta have this, or I gotta do this, or I gotta do that, when it's already ingrained and part of your life from birth all the way to the present day. Is nothing for some people. If math is something that you've always taught, and if you've played math games, and you've had competitions, and you just get it from birth, then it's not hard. But for some people, it's struggle. In my family, and I'm not talking about any one of my members of my family, but for me, I think logically, logistics, statistics, things like that numbers kind of amaze me. I love numbers. But for some members of my family, I'm not saying who, but for some members, numbers don't come easy. And it's frustrating. If you look at that on a personal basis, things that come natural to you might not come natural to other people. So this morning, today is the 27th of February, but this morning I tweeted out, seek to have power to look over personal problems, other people's problems, and be a positive change for them, right? Or something to that effect. We tend to get offended by personal problems. That's when we start to move in other people's way or block our own way because we're offended. When the frustrations might come from someone trying to overcome themselves, whereas us, don't have that problem. Like, for your example, some people struggle with relationships, but being on the dating scene and things like that, when you're married and you're locked in and you're happy and your spouse is happy, being out on the meat market doesn't really mean much. It doesn't bother you. But for some other people, though, dating and trying to find the right person and things like that, once you already got your person, you want to keep them, you stick with it. Thick and thin, sickness and health, death do you part. On the other side, when you out there looking, sometimes it gets hard and frustrating, and the people that don't want to act right? So we'll look at those problems. It's like, well, just settle down. It's real easy to say, right? Or it's like walking up to a homeless person. It's like, why don't you just buy a house? What's wrong with you? It's not that easy. So look above those problems, get out of their way or get out of your own way, and that's what Unblock Yourself is trying to do. And the way to do it, to get those things done, is to find books that's dealing with your situation, to find books that will help you out. The earth has been around for a long time, right? And people have been around for centuries, and they've been writing the things, how they've overcome. Now, of course, you mean reading something that, somebody writing in the 800 BC, 800 AD, it's not going to really deal with technology and things like that. But a lot of the situations, sometimes even the mindset, overcoming the mind, will. There's wisdom in books. That's why it's lasted for so long. But I always recommend this. This is good. It's an easy read, and it's always good. Or anything by John Maxwell. Even my book, I recommend that too, by Jeff D. Banks. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about that for a minute. Just getting out of your own way, unblocking your mind, unblocking and unlocking, right? So let's get to it. Tell me what you're reading.